All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night. It's Sunday, August the 3rd, 2025. It's a Fakeologist show. We're back. We are live, and it's the dog days of summer, but I figured it's Sunday, and tomorrow's a holiday here in Ontario. It's not a stat holiday, so we don't get paid, or for those that still work for a corporation. So I can sleep in tomorrow, but since I haven't done a whole lot today, I figure I should do a show and convene with everyone and bring back returning guest, the prophet of fiction, a fellow Canadian who's exiled himself to southern Mexico, and Chester Brown, one of the supporters here at Fakeologist, said I'd like to have him back. He's very interesting. I want to hear more about some of the authors, including Shakespeare. So I asked Prophet to come back, and here he is live in the studio. Hello, Prophet.
Hello, Fakeologist. Yeah, me in southern Mexico. The state also has a nickname. It's Oaxaca.
Oaxaca.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we just introed this with Rush YYZ, which is Toronto's airport code, and I think you're from Montreal. No.
No, north of Toronto and Burlington.
Oh yeah, you are from Toronto. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so you're a fellow Toronto guy, and you've. Did you say why you've exiled yourself from Canada? Because I'm reading more and more, or watching more and more YouTube videos because it's feeding it's feeding my interest. Not that I'm thinking of escaping, but was there any particular reason? A lot of people leave for tax reasons.
No, I was already not paying tax in Canada, so
Oh, okay. Is
yeah.
that just because you didn't have to, or because you weren't making enough money, or what?
I just thought I can't, with a good conscience, continue. Um, and
Okay. You're a
um,
conscientious objector to the corporation that collects taxes in Canada, the
yeah,
CRA.
indeed, and Justin at that time. So um, no, Mexico. I explored the South because I just love being outdoors, better weather, and when COVID pushed me online, pushed my whole job online, I thought, what am I doing still in Canada? Maybe it's time to get out.
Yeah. You were born here, right?
Born in the Netherlands.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
You were born in the Netherlands, but you moved here.
yeah. I did. I
Okay.
did 3 years in Korea, South Korea.
Hmm.
Um, Went to Waterloo and Western in my time.
What's your prognosis for Canada? Do you
Oh
have
gosh.
one?
Oh gosh. Um, I give you a glimpse of my long-term vision for not just Canada but everyone. I
Oh,
really
go
think.
for it.
I really think we all belong in the South, where we can enjoy great weather year long and grow food year long, be economically independent, and not rely on electricity to keep us warm, or gas and so on. I'm confident that anyone can learn to love gardening and providing for themselves this way, building for themselves. Um, we should all be living off grid, really, and I think it will happen in the future as things fall apart. I'm not sure who will fall apart first, but since you asked about Canada, I really don't know. But
Yeah. You think everything's gonna fall apart?
I think slowly, yes, it will go that way, go south. Hopefully, it's not too what's the word, chaotic, let's say. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm not so optimistic. But on the other, I really don't know, how it's going to happen. Uh, I feel like, and this is an important topic too in my Shakespeare essays, that we were once very naive. We were all native people once. Doesn't matter where we come from. We were all native at one time, ancestors. And unfortunately, we were naive and we were easily controlled and wowed by all the fakery, from church to secular humanism and wherever we are now. Um, and we're going to have to grow out of that naivety and become real critical thinkers and have just a lot more happening upstairs than we had in the past.
Yeah, I just posted a video on Fakotube, fakotube.com. That's my video platform, by the way.
Yeah, I often go there. It's one of the few places I still go.
Oh, thanks. Well, I don't know if it made it up yet because it seem like I'm having encoding problems. Let's see, did it make it up? Let me just see if it's still encoding. But it was a video. I guess it's still encoding. It's a little slow. It's a video about the mass grave
Oh,
in
in
Kamloops, which is a total hoax.
yes,
And they even admit they haven't dug up one body.
yeah.
But
I think I watched that on FacoTube.
well, actually, it's not up yet. I just found it today on YouTube,
Okay.
and it's all tied into UNDRIP, the United Nations designated.
Yeah,
Oh man, I can't remember that acronym to save my life. United Nations designated something of indigenous people, indigenous rights of indigenous. Basically, they're going to give all the land back to the indigenous and then control the land through them. They're going to be their appointed guardians of the land as they
yeah.
take it.
Right.
And part of it is to create this genocide myth. And they want to pass a law in Canada saying you can't even say that. You can't say genocide myth.
Right. So it's going to be the new Holocaust denial
Right. It's
going.
it's it's mass. It's very specific. It should be Kamloops mass grave denial, but they just call it um, mass. I guess they could just call it genocide denial or indigenous genocide denial. It's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But
There's certainly a real genocide happening, but it's not. It didn't happen in Kamloops, I guess.
yeah.
Not 200 years ago, whatever.
Well,
Um,
what genocide is that?
no, I'm talking the residential school stuff.
Oh, you think there was a genocide in the
No,
school?
no, no. I'm saying it's not that. It's always the misdirection.
Yeah, I don't think there's any genocide at all. Period. I think it's just a narrative term to control people and to scare the hell out of people. But whatever the case,
Yeah. Well, I was referring to possibly the medical system being a bit genocidal.
oh, I see. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's really a genocide either. I think it's just a mass poisoning that
Okay. Yeah.
can lead to death, but I don't think anyone was given enough to kill them, but I don't know. I think the illness is enough to disable and dismember enough people.
Absolutely.
I'm sure of that, but I
Yeah.
just don't know at what rate it was done at. But the point is, it's just another foundational myth that they're trying to create to bring in a whole new system of communitarianism, I guess, into Canada.
Right. First, to guilt trip all the Canadians
Mhm.
into giving up. Well, I don't know how that's going to work. To me, it looks unworkable to give the rights to the native people, but then manage it for them.
Mhm. Well, I think it's possible.
Maybe.
I think it's probable if people are dumb enough to give away those rights.
Yeah, and of course they're going to seize the farmland first.
Well, I think they're just taking it by bankrupting people anyway. They'll just give it up willingly.
That's true. Yeah.
I think that's happening
Yeah.
right now all across North America. But anyway, so you don't have great hope for Canada, but Do you foresee what I think is just a North American integration? The whole Trump thing is really just to sort of accelerate that in sort of a backwards way.
Yeah, they definitely want to what's the word? Conglomerate the nations,
Yeah, integrate.
integrate. Yeah, and
I even heard that Mexico is they're pushing for the digital ID there.
yeah,
Um,
I have my friends are keeping me aware of what's happening on that front. Um, so I I'd like to have land and really settle before that happens. Let's see. Um, I don't know how fast they can do it. I'm a bit skeptical about that. But on the other hand, the governments and their bankers could easily provide everyone with a cell phone, every store with, and every highway with all the tech they need to monitor and check where we're going. And they have the money, and people are willing to, I think, accept this control grid in return for conveniences. It seems like, anyway.
hmm hmm Well, it just goes along with they want to just categorize every single piece of resource and monetize it and collateralize it and just make it an asset so they can manage it better. Every blade of grass, every tree, every bush, and,
Hmm.
and they do have the technology to do it. They can put an RFID chip on every single blade of grass if they really wanted to and count it and have it check in with the network. I don't think that's too far fetched. It seems crazy, but I think it could
Yeah,
happen with technology.
we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. It's a long game.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'm very happy to be here. I am lucky. I can work online
hmm
and without really a boss.
And make enough money to do so, I guess.
Yeah,
You can live
yeah,
cheap down there, I think.
you can. Yeah, and with uh, with with a good job, um, like I'm rescheduling a student right now. They're so um, what's the word? Um, the word slips my mind, but yeah, I'm kind of spoiled. Obviously, I have students who appreciate me, and I can reschedule things.
Yeah, you're teaching English?
Yeah, although I do like to highlight that it's not really ESL. It's mostly writing skills and some working with literature and helping kids survive English, high school English.
hmm
So I used to have to teach a lot of Shakespeare, so I'm ready for that.
Why
And
don't we talk about that? Because Chester wanted to talk about that topic by way of deception.
yeah, by way of deception.
Well, he wanted just to. I read the email out loud on the air. Let's see if I still have it here because you're here now. Let's see if I saved it in the right spot. Um, it's somewhere here. But what's your take on Shakespeare? Who do you think? Do you think there was a Shakespeare? Do you think it was Francis Bacon? Do you think it
Right.
was? What's your take? What's your conspiratorial take, if you have one?
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm very aware of that. Many scholars are exploring these questions, and it's all tied up with this obsession we have with identity, which seems especially strong in Canada. But needless to say, it's everywhere. Everyone wants their own identity and wants to know who Shakespeare was. I think it's misdirection. It's not really relevant. It's like asking, what company produced this poison? No, just stop consuming the poison, please, and forget who is the CEO of the company.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. It diverts us from the real
Yeah.
idea. Maybe Chester, he wrote here, I found his email. He said, "Since I'm writing, I might as well add that I really enjoyed the episode with the prophet of fiction. I hope that he'll return. I want to hear his takes on Shakespeare's plays and on Harry Potter and whatever else he wants to analyze. This idea that famous works of literature have long been vectors of for propaganda sounds like a fascinating topic to explore, and the prophet sounds like the perfect guy to do so with. We've got lots of people who analyze films from that perspective, but not many who tackle novels or other literary work." So there you go. There's a
Yeah.
fan for you.
Thank you, Chester.
He's a good man, Chester. And he's a graphic novelist, by the way.
Oh, great. Um, well, I do have a novel that's very close to ready, but that's another topic. Um, I think I mentioned to you I have nearly 6 books ready to go, and it's been 18 years of labor of love.
Hmm.
Anyhow, Shakespeare. Um,
Tomanoid says Kubrick is Shakespeare. I don't think so.
time travel, maybe. Um, so, there's evidence that whoever Shakespeare was, he was connected to the the upper echelons of the aristocracy. Um, I forgot the names, and maybe there is a British elite whose name was not Shakespeare, but something very close to that. Um, so I'm not sure there was really ever a Shakespeare. I'm willing to dismiss that. And as I say, it's not important. We should focus on what's in the novels, what poison we were being served, and there is a lot. I don't know which play shall we start with. I, I recommend starting with popular ones that people know.
Well, I really didn't like learning Shakespeare. I just didn't enjoy it at all. But it's part of the Canadian curriculum, I think.
Yeah, well, it was until now. Now everyone is teaching their students First Nations literature, and
Oh no.
and I think a lot of that is actually fake too. I have tried to investigate some of those First Nations authors. There is almost zero information about them. So I don't know where they come from, what they've done. Do they know what they're talking about when they talk about their quote unquote novels? I don't think so. It's the same with J.K. Rowling. She certainly did not write those novels.
Why do you say that? What evidence do you have?
Well, um, it's not convincing when she speaks about her novels. She claims to have brainstormed them in coffee shops and on trains while she's a single mother. Um, it's not very plausible. They're quite complex novels with like 1,000 characters, something. Uh,
Why is it that why do they have to create characters uh, in the form of authors to convince us or
yeah, well, I guess
why
the
can't
other.
why can't they just say it's a committee of of people at high level NGOs sponsored by the oligarchs that write them? Would it make any difference to us? Would we um
It's it's a fair question. I guess a lot of people wouldn't care either, but
Yeah, I don't think they'd care. So, but would that expose the agenda? This isn't just a harmless novel that's the work of some creative genius, and if we knew it was engineered
yeah,
to lead us possibly astray, that we would disregard it or toss it away. But if we knew we were being deliberately propagandized.
I suppose, yeah, it's not fair to say people would just not care, but because it would raise a lot of questions. So,
So we need to believe in these rags to riches genius stories, genius authors that
yeah,
help sell it.
right. And the idea that one man named Francis Bacon, who already has books with his name on it, also wrote Shakespeare's books.
Hmm.
You're really creating a superhuman author this way.
Hmm. Do you
Um,
feel the same about music?
yeah, yeah, for sure. That's done by people.
Committee?
Yeah, people behind the scenes, people who research the Beatles. Of course, they say, look at their early work, and then suddenly they have a Jewish manager,
Hmm.
and bingo, they're writing very interesting and complex works. So
Yeah. Mozart too, I'm afraid.
yeah, it goes right back to the classical music.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
Hmm.
the
So
amount
why
of
would so
the
why
amount
would it be any different for novelists and authors and
it's all, yeah, exactly. And we know movies is even more obvious that Pentagon is involved and so on. So yeah, why would it be different?
yeah, the military industrial complex, yeah.
There is an aura of what's the right word? Ah, and there's an aura of something. I can't grab the word right now, but around books, we do treat them as something far more authentic and resources of wisdom. We don't say that about movies.
No.
So it is kind of sacred territory to start questioning books. You're stepping on toes, you're becoming a heretic, and the people who are raising questions about Shakespeare's identity, they really have nothing interesting to say about what's in his books. No one would want to read an academic essay about Shakespeare, about
Hmm.
any of his plays. It's completely a bubble for a few scholars.
Hmm. When you're helping students, do they come to you with Shakespeare and do you have to explain it to them so
It's
they
been,
understand?
I think it's been over a year, maybe over 2 or 3 years. But yes, that's one reason. Maybe Shakespeare is my number two expertise after the Bible. I spent a lot of time with Shakespeare, um, Romeo and Juliet, all the popular ones, Lear, all well, I think popular ones. The tragedies for sure were mostly being taught in high school.
Hmm.
Um,
So you're
Hamlet.
saying literally they've dropped Shakespeare from Canadian education and put indigenous stuff in there?
It seems systematic. Yeah, it seems from the top down.
Wow. Well, that really dovetails into undrip for
Yeah.
sure then. And
Yeah.
by the way, they were talking about in the movie. Oh, it looks like it's looks like my encoder started encoding since I complained to the Tube management. Yeah, they were also talking about how it looks like they invented some indigenous language and alphabet, and they're renaming schools in Canada, including universities, in this new indigenous language that no one's really ever heard of, and there's no basis in its origin story, so it's just made up out of whole cloth, and you can't even pronounce the words. They don't even you can't
Oh,
even phonetically pronounce them, so the professor was thrown out of the university, was saying, "You can't even say the name. Why would we rename something nobody can say?" And there's a street in Toronto that I delivered to because I'm in the delivery business, and it's a new street for a new condo, and I it's got one of those indigenous names, words that I can't pronounce. And I think it even has characters that don't even exist in the English language. They're almost like Chinese symbols. It's crazy.
yeah, they're gonna make communication impossible.
Yeah, isn't that interesting though that they I never heard that there's quite possibly they've invented an indigenous fictitious language that they say is historical. It's insane.
Yeah, well, I also have theories about language, especially the English language. Uh,
Okay,
within
go
my
ahead. Go
within
ahead
my
with that.
pardon?
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear that.
Yeah, I believe that as the ruling elites, sometimes I call them the world cabal, as they spread their tentacles. They created the first cities and the first slave class, and then they would have had their own language just for secrecy purposes, as they are a very military uh, operation, and militaries love to be secretive. So it's very natural for them to need their own language, perhaps starting with Latin. I don't know. I don't think anyone outside a bunch of elites ever spoke Latin. And as they build their wealth and their cities, there's a time when you know they offer jobs to their slave class or to the outsiders. And to get those jobs, you have to learn their language, which is still happening today. People are still learning English, and in China, they're learning the dominant Mandarin. Um, and I believe most of those languages, most of the world's dominant languages, are shaped, um, if not created from scratch, at least shaped by the ruling class.
Okay.
Does that seem plausible?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Um, of course, people who love their languages wouldn't like that theory, and I've bumped into those people before. Um, French people, but people of all kinds, all
Mhm.
languages. Um, we know in Shakespeare's time, if his works were really written in the turn of the, what did we say, the turn of the 16th century,
Mhm.
turn of the 17th. Um, at that time, dictionaries were being written by a man named Johnson, I believe. And you can be sure that they weren't just collecting words from you and me and the farmers in the fields. They were probably inventing them from scratch sometimes and borrowing from other languages that were probably theirs too. Anyway, I have a long chapter on some of the strange kind of death themes in the English language, kind of subtly, cryptically hidden in words like morning and morning. Why does the word for sunrise, have to be the same as the word for grieving for a dead person? It's
Yeah.
a bunch of
Yeah.
sick. Yeah.
I thought about that too. Did you have a good morning overnight?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's almost caused me to stop saying it because I do think about that.
yeah, it's better to say good sunrise. I don't know. Good sun
Yeah.
return. I don't even like sunrise. Sometimes I prefer sun return
Mhm.
to be with the flat Earth people. But
Yeah.
um, anyway, back to Shakespeare.
Yeah. You got Shakespeare on the screen. Let's talk about that because we're halfway through the show already. We just talked about some general things, but let's talk about this because you've studied this. It's your number two topic after the Bible. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. Any particular play you want to direct me towards? We got
Well, I think we should just start at your England's Masonic, this page you've got at the top here.
okay.
And that's the other thing that made me suspicious about Shakespeare. A lot of the plays don't seem to be similar in any way in writing style or theme, and that also made me think that it was a committee of the leading writers of the day that probably put this together,
Yeah,
like a team.
I tend to agree. There are plays that are I find very complex, full of hints about what they were probably doing, and others are relatively simple and stupid.
Hmm.
Now, um, Romeo and Juliet is a good one to pick on. But you wanted to start with the intro?
Yeah, start with the intro. Start
Yeah,
with the
well,
intro there.
I don't want to read it, but it's up to you.
Well, you could just browse through it and talk about it as you read.
Yeah, as I work with students, students always, as you experienced also, don't understand what's so special about Shakespeare and why do they have to suffer through this headache.
Yeah.
Some teachers even forcing students to read Shakespeare in the original Elizabethan English. It's brutal for children, especially in Canada, where you half of your classrooms are full of foreigners trying to learn modern English.
Oh yeah. Well, I learned it when there were hardly any foreigners in
Right.
Canada, but yeah, I didn't understand it
So
or or didn't hold my attention.
um, I don't want to,
Well, you're
there's
basically saying that at the beginning we're given Shakespeare, we're supposed to idolize this set of plays, and it's just treated as sacrosanct. We don't question it. We
right.
don't know why we're even learning it. It's just in the curriculum, and they have to teach it. That's one thing that I found teachers that didn't even like the curriculum. They would just say, "Well, I have to teach this. You have to know it." And it
Yeah.
makes you wonder, well, who said? I know that the
Well,
Ministry of Education, every province creates the curriculum, but
right. Well, they will defend it and say Shakespeare really understood human nature, and his plays really reveal important lessons about human nature. And it's a pretty good selling line, but it doesn't hold water on close inspection. Um, for example, in Romeo and Juliet, you have a play with a 13 and 14-year-old kids who fall in love and commit suicide because their parents didn't want them to marry, and some crazy priest, a Franciscan monk, gave Juliet poison with which to kill herself, or no, with which to fake being dead. The poison was supposed to uh, make her asleep or unconscious for a limited time. It sounds very dangerous. Uh,
mhm.
really, what are we learning about human nature there? Is the lesson that 13 and 14-year-olds should be allowed to marry freely? Is that it?
Mhm.
Like, I guess so, but um, we should respect love. I don't know. It's 13 and 14-year-olds, and if we read Romeo's lines carefully, we'll find that it's disgusting. He's talking about his ex-girlfriend in one line, probably the worst line in Shakespeare, and he basically says she would not open her lap for saint seducing gold.
Mhm.
What, you wanted to, the 14-year-old wanted to pay a 13-year-old for sex? And at the same time, in the same line, he's insulting the entire church by saying gold corrupts, saints.
Mhm.
So wow, that's one loaded and disgusting line. And I'm not a fan of the church, but geez, that's over the top.
Yeah. Do people ask you to explain that? Your students, I mean, do they ask you to, what does this mean exactly?
No, but uh, they're going through the washing machine. Their heads going in all directions. They don't know
Mhm.
what they're reading, and the teachers skip over it. Teachers don't notice it even. Um, they're too busy worshiping Shakespeare to notice anything wrong. Um, so that what that's one of the patterns also I noticed throughout Shakespeare is very non-flattering portrayals of the church figures, church authorities. Um, And I think it's because uh, it was written at a time, and we're still in that time when we're being forced to transition out of Christianity and religion into some kind of secular cult. Um, the church takes big beating, and I can see that in Shakespeare. But it's not my favorite topic because I'm not a big fan of the church anyway. I prefer, and I think there is really more material on Shakespeare vilifying and the native people through by portraying them as witches and vilifying and mocking poor people, the working class, by ridiculing them, using them for a little comical asides. Even in the middle of a tragedy, he'll use poor people for a little laugh. So
I was thinking just now when you're talking that we should get you on the call at the same time, or on the show at the same time as Joseph Atwell.
I know Joseph. Yeah.
What do you think of his work? I think he's pretty interesting person.
Yeah, he is. But I'm much more what's the word? Radical in my dismissal and analysis. I know he has a theory about that one Roman family and their history being the basis of the stories of Jesus.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. That would tie
Right.
into the Bible. Yeah.
But for me, the stories of that, is it the Vespasian family? I forgot. But
Yeah, the Flavians. Yeah.
Flavians, thank you. Uh, all that ancient literature, it's all fake. None of it is the basis of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a bunch of echoes echoing each other almost. If there's any basis or any ground, I would look at how native people are portrayed in ancient literature and in Shakespeare. There's a true story there, absolutely. Yeah. There are almost no native people left. There's a few fascinating ones still here in Mexico and elsewhere. I was in Veracruz and spoke or listened briefly with a friend who speaks Spanish to the granddaughter of a medicine woman, and I wish I had a tape recorder. She was just sharing remedies, natural remedies, about 5 of them in 20 minutes, less. So for me, that's the ground zero. What happened to native people? Not the family, the Flavian family. That's mostly invention, I suspect. Which I could connect that to one of Shakespeare's plays. He did set a lot of his plays in Italy. Let me rack my mind. What's it called? Twelfth Night.
12th Night. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, so-called comedy with cross-dressing men seducing the Italian aristocrat named Orsino. I think is listed sometimes among black nobility.
That's Orsini.
Orsini, yeah. Well, Orsino,
Yeah, same. Yeah, that's his takeoff on the name.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
think so too.
And Orsino is absolutely ridiculed by, I forgot what her name was, or his name. It's two brothers and a captain are stranded somewhere east of Italy. I forgot the name of the country at that time, Scythia, whatever. And they're pirates. So, and they have somewhat possibly English name. One of them does. But that I suspect that's a reference to the English or Western European Empire, the Dutch, the English, all those colonial empires, and maybe they already had Italian elites working with them. But in this story, Twelfth Night, he's absolutely mocked, this Orsino character. He falls in love with a cross-dressing man. And
Kate Emma says also cross-dressing in Midsummer's Night Dream.
yeah. It doesn't come back to me right now, but I don't doubt it. That's another theme that's developing as we speak with the LGBTQ and the hormone therapy, etc., transgender.
Well, one of the good things about Trump is he seems to shut that language down. At least it's not being promoted so overtly, because that was really getting under many people's skin, including mine. Even
Right.
if you have a high tolerance for nonsense, it just was endless.
I guess they detected that it wasn't working in their favor anymore.
Well, right, yeah.
They
Well,
went.
they go back and forth. Maybe the next president will go right back at it. Who knows?
Sure.
Give us a 4-year break.
I also see this theme already in the Vatican, the Sistine. What's it called? The Sistine Chapel ceiling, Michelangelo's work.
Yeah.
There are female prophetesses depicted on that ceiling, and they look monstrous. They have 19-inch biceps. And
yeah, that's funny.
what is he thinking? So I think this is an old theme, as a lot of people say. This world cabal has been at it for a long time. I don't think as long as some people say. I don't think it's more than 1,000 years. So maybe a lot less.
They're called sibyls, which are female prophets from classical antiquity.
Correct.
The
Yeah.
5 sibyls and the 5 prophets.
Right. And the sibyls are not in the Bible either, so it's already designed to raise or to undermine Christian faith. But who notices? Who asks questions anymore? So I also have a theory that the Bible was written to raise questions, confuse, and destroy the faith. But it probably didn't work because people are just so sleepy. They don't care if there are contradictions. They don't care if God in the Bible is a psychopath. It just goes over their heads. So it's pretty hard to wake up people, even by the people who put us to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Michelangelo's Sistine ceiling. So I guess people analyze this. I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't know how they analyze it, but
Ceiling?
everything's. Yeah, there are scholars analyzing everything, mostly very badly. With a lot of reverence and respect.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's what I experienced.
So if we look up, this is what we're going to see.
Sorry, I got to go back to that. You're sharing your screen. Yeah, right. Thank you.
I can't. It's too. I need to zoom in more. I can't really zoom in anymore, but I can't really see who's who here.
Yeah, there's a symbol in the bottom left, just to the right of the corner piece.
This one?
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, and actually, all the men, also all the prophets, Moses, they're all built like someone from the WWE.
Yeah, built like wrestlers. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So, what are they thinking? What's up with that? Did these prophets?
What's up with that? Yeah.
Are the prophets spending 3 hours in the gym every day? So, it is a fascinating piece, but not the way people think it is. Back to Shakespeare.
Yeah, let's get back at your thing here.
John D. I'm just quickly going through the chat. Okay. Well, no one's raising questions about any particular play. I think in my introduction somewhere I also discuss the Globe Theater. You know,
Mm-hmm.
why that name, Globe Theater? The structure wasn't really globular,
Mm-hmm.
so I think they already had very much a global empire, and they knew that it would depended heavily on deception and fakery, and this was a little nod called Shakespeare's theater the Globe Theater, and we're in global theater.
Globalist theater, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and maybe Macbeth would be a good point. That's possibly the most fascinating of the plays, for me anyway.
Yeah, let's go over that one quickly.
Okay,
We got about 15 minutes just to pace yourself there. So
sure, sure. And, everyone I think might remember if they ever studied Macbeth. How does it go?
that would have been my favorite one. I like the death, and I like some of the speeches and soliloquies and all that.
Yeah, it's very dramatic.
I didn't mind that one. Out damn spot.
The pardon?
Was out damn spot in that movie or in that play? I just remember that line.
Yeah, I don't know.
That movie.
Uh,
Hello.
dance spot. Is that what you
That's
said?
what it was. Out damn spot. I think that's when they had blood on their
Oh
hands.
no, I don't think that line is in there. But the famous line was, "The foul is fair and fair is foul,"
Okay.
and it's attributed to the witches. They start the play, the three witches, who
Mm,
are meeting in a heath at night while it's raining and maybe thunder. Of course, these heathens, they must be presented in this gloomy atmosphere to create, the Halloween feeling, um, as if pagans or heathens regularly met outdoors and danced, and said things like "foul is fair, fair is foul, good is evil, evil is good."
hmm
For me, this is evidence of what do we call in psychology a transference. The authors are the people who believed evil is good and good is evil, not the pagans, the sinful pagans who were busy taking care of their children and living in the forests of Europe.
hmm
Um, and these witches brew something very horrible, including like a Jew's thumb. They speak about taking the thumb of a sailor because the sailor's wife didn't share a chestnut with them. You know, portraying the native people basically as extremely greedy and cruel. Um, the fact that English teachers don't notice that this is absurd and racist, maybe, is kind of shocking. You wouldn't say that about Canadian natives, but it's okay to say it about European natives.
hmm
um,
By the way, out damn spot was Lady Macbeth.
oh, good. Yes, it rings true now.
Yes, that was real. That was
Yeah, it was the blood that had stained her clothes or her hands, I guess.
well, it was metaphorical.
Yes, yeah, but there was literally blood around too, and she was crazy, and she was no longer in touch with reality. So,
She was
uh,
reliving her guilt over her role in King Duncan's murder. She compulsively rubs her hands, imagining bloodstains she cannot wash away, symbolizing her overwhelming remorse and psychological torment.
yes, thank you. That's exactly how the teachers would like to present it, and thereby neglect the fact or ignore the fact that Shakespeare will never give you a play in which people feel guilty for killing a
Mhm.
farmer, an artisan, uh, a shepherd. No, it has to be the king, right? The
Mm-hmm.
king is the only person who deserves such feelings. So um, I think it's quite obviously biased. The whole canon. Um, what else about Macbeth? An important part is what it does to the history of Scotland, as England, according to historians at least, went to war with Scotland 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I suspect unprovoked, and then defeated the Scottish nobility, I suppose, um, and has been ruling it since Shakespeare's time.
Mm-hmm.
But in Macbeth, we are told that Scotland's king, his name was Duncan. If we give the C in Duncan a soft C, if we make it a soft C, we have Dunson. A
Mm-hmm.
dunce. He really is a dunce. Um, a man who trusted people who trusted a man who betrayed him, brought in the Irish army, if such a thing existed, brought in the Swedes to help Scotland. Wait, yes, wait. Let me get it straight. It's been a while. Yes, to defeat Scotland,
Mm-hmm.
and and it desperately needed England's help to save it from these terrible errors in I don't know what to call it, but so he made that mistake with a Scottish noble who betrayed him, brought in the Irish and the Swedes, I think it was maybe Norwegians, and afterwards. Macbeth was critical in defeating both armies single-handedly. He was a super warrior, uh, and to the extent that he was, it was grotesque what he did to his enemies. I don't even think the elites would respect such a person, cutting off heads and setting them up on ramparts. It's not the way they operate. Um, so Macbeth received all the honors, and Macbeth betrays King Duncan also. So twice King Duncan is a dunce. And England is called upon to save poor Scotland. And there's King Edward in this play. He's portrayed like a Jesus figure with power to do miracles, to heal people by touching them. And after defeating Macbeth and his very small set of followers, the new king of Scotland uh, agrees to adopt English nobility titles, which is a small hint that Scotland is no longer Scotland. It is now English.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your that's very classic propaganda. It's telling us that England defeated Scotland, but it did so because Scotland needed their help.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, it didn't defeat Scotland. It ruled Scotland because it saved Scotland. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like America going to Iraq and having to save the poor Iraqis from their terrible leader.
They're spreading democracy.
Yeah, right. Um, Same story for so many countries.
Mm-hmm.
So
They
and also,
liberate them from a dictator.
right. Yes, Macbeth is a dictator. Well, he's a tyrant, let's say, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure the technical difference, but same story, really. And it all starts in Western Europe and then spreads outwards.
We were liberated from Trudeau.
By Carney.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Carney.
Carney is in Carnival.
Carnival, yeah, and this my smidgen of Spanish tells me that carne is also related to meat.
Carnivore.
Yeah, carne.
Hey, J5 is in the chat. Hello, J5. You're late, it says here, but that's okay. People do like to come to the live stream to meet their friends and fellow listeners. I appreciate that. By the way, we're on X. We have most of the people are listening on X. I pay for X so I can broadcast there. In the old days, you could do it for free, but not anymore. So we're on X. We're on D Live. And we're on 2 YouTube channels, and of course our own FakeOtube, fakeotube.com. And if you just like audio, shortfake.com, shortfake.com/stream1. Our server was actually down for the first time in 5 or 10 years, the audio stream. It was very strange, but it's back up now. It was only down for about 12 hours, and it was down for our audio chat on Saturday. And that sucked a bit, but we got through it. And just so you know, I haven't rendered the audios for Saturday or Sunday because everyone was still talking when I tried to do the audio rendering. Because people seem to talk for 12 hours. So just so you know, we'll do that probably tomorrow. Render those huge audios for your listening pleasure. That's our Discord there, Prophet.
Okay.
People like to chat. I'm not the only one that chats on this channel. We have many, many listeners that come by on the weekend to expound and talk about fakery and just life in general. It goes quite diverging all over the place. That's a fun thing we do on the weekend. We don't just do the show. Well, we got a few minutes left. Why don't we do you want to finish up on Macbeth? Or are you already scrolling to another play right now?
Yeah, we can touch briefly on Shylock, the Jewish financier in Merchant of Venice.
Okay.
Since the topic of the Jews is often raised on fakeology.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the Wednesday crowd. That's their favorite topic.
Right. Yeah. And as I've just argued anyway, that Italian elites are mocked in Shakespeare, and that
Yeah.
probably reflects the fact that Northwestern Europeans were completely in control of Europe, not Italians. As Orsino is, basically controlled, mind controlled, even we could say.
Okay.
In Merchant of Venice, we have Shylock, and he is a financier, a banker, a money lender, and his daughter betrays him, takes his stuff, and he did make a contract with the Italian merchant Antonio. Antonio was unable to pay and therefore had to sacrifice a pound of his flesh, and then it had to go to court, and the court was corrupted because another Italian elite, a woman named Portia, pretended to be the judge and found a loophole in the law, said, well, you can have flesh, but it doesn't say you can have blood. So if you can take flesh without taking blood, be my guest. That was impossible. So Antonio was off the hook. The Jew was without his money, without his loan back. So it really doesn't look like Jewish people are in control, according to that play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about it for Shylock. He really does get the short end of the stick, let us say. And what else? his
I like that here, your line. Shakespeare has nothing good to teach us. To demand that students read his plays in Elizabethan English is like asking children to drink alcohol through a straw with holes in it. It's funny.
Yeah, at least let them have their poison in modern English to get it down faster.
Our teachers are hypocrites. They forbid students from plagiarizing, yet Shakespeare plagiarized most of his plays. Well, that's the official story, but would it be more sensible to say that different authors wrote the plays under that name based on their own work, maybe?
Yeah, that's a very possible thing. That's very possible too.
Yeah.
The fakery is so deep; it's hard to write a sentence that still makes sense.
Hmm.
But for convenience sake, I tend to stick with the name Shakespeare and pretend
Yeah.
he's one person.
Did you know the first guy to get the COVID vaccine in England, his name was William Shakespeare?
I did, yes, I did hear that.
That's what they gave us. We're supposed to.
Yeah, it's a good hint that you're on stage and there's
Hmm.
a script. Um, but
Such crap. Such crap we're fed. It's
it
really
is,
bad.
it is very bad. The spear is a weapon. Yeah. I hope you like what you read here.
Where can we read this somewhere? Can the listenership find this online? Do you have it in a public um,
I've been,
disc?
I've been living a very strange life as an author. I've been very quietly building my canon, if I may say. That's
Yeah,
another loaded word.
yeah,
And and waiting for 18 years until everything is perfect. And maybe this is the year. But in short, there's nothing online yet.
yeah. You should put it on Substack or somewhere.
Exactly what I'm considering. And if I will start doing audios, maybe put them on YouTube. Maybe
Hmm.
there's a place on your website, wherever.
Yeah, you should put it somewhere. Yeah, that's good. It's good writing. I
Thanks.
don't think it has to be perfect. I think it's more interesting if it's less than perfect, because then you can leave
That,
lots of
that's
things open for discussion.
that's true, but it's not just perfection in terms of spelling and grammar, and it's about me realizing that these plays are more complex than I thought, and just I didn't even research secret societies until 5 years ago. That was kind of necessary. Um, so there's always new things, and the idea that wars are mostly faked. Uh, that threw an important new perspective or a new idea into the work. So I had to revise things and rethink things.
I see what you
And it
mean.
really fit well because I was already, no, I mean, in short, it really fit well. So I had to follow that thread and and adjust chapters.
Oh, you're right. So you're saying you got to adjust it based on your new knowledge.
Right.
What
And
was I'm listening to a podcast that maybe talks a lot about the fakery from the elite point of view in England. What is the name of it right now? I'm just scrolling right through all my peeled down my scaled back podcast list. It was already way too big and unmanageable. I want to just tell you about it quickly in case you've never heard of it, if I can find it here. Let's see what it's called here. Must be way down my list. It's a Substack, and then the guy does podcasts with another host. The Phoenician Hunter. That's it. Have you heard of that one?
I think I have, yeah. I know the Phoenician idea, the narrative that everything starts with the Phoenicians.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, here it is here. It's actually a big Substack.
yeah.
Right here. It's very busy and it's very interesting. I'll post it up here. I'll put a show note here.
Have you ever bumped into work by Jason Christoph.
Yeah, he's in Mexico, I think. He's a Canadian.
Yeah, he was a year ago. He was exploring Mexico but I think he's now in Lithuania. He found a good woman.
Oh, did he? Oh, good for him. Where'd he find her? In Mexico?
No, she is Lithuanian, so he's spending a lot of time there.
No, I meant how did he find her though? Because he was in Mexico and Puerto Vallarta, I think, on the Pacific side.
It could be, but he's been around to different countries doing conferences, and
Oh, good for
he
him.
does his classes, online classes about what, self sabotage, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I imagine he met her one way or another that way by traveling outside of Canada and Mexico, and maybe through his courses.
Mm,
Anyway, that's another person who explores Phoenicians, Egyptians,
right.
and
Here's one: The Merchant's Tongue: The Rise of the English Language. He just says that it's the merchant's language, so they could have a universal way of communicating and trade. That's
yes, there are a few people who really focus on merchant or navy and naval and marine terminology in the legal system.
well,
Bunk.
yeah, yeah. I think it's all based on commerce. I think the whole world is still based on commerce. It all comes back
Right.
to commerce, and that's their system of sorting out things.
It's certainly, but I always hesitate to say it's all one thing. As we talked earlier about morning and morning,
Yeah,
there is that other side. It's not just commerce. It's this really sick death worship, death cult.
yeah. We talked about that today on the audio chat. You're totally right. They worship death.
Yeah, and what better way to desensitize yourself and feel no guilt for anything that happens?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, this is a good Substack. Sometimes it gets. I haven't really been doing much research on this topic lately. I do burn out on topics over time, I think, like any normal person should take a break and do something else just to keep things fresh in their brain.
yeah,
But in the meantime, that's I see some overlap with Phoenician Hunter's work and your work.
probably is. I've probably read a little bit, but yeah, I don't follow that route to the ancients and to the Far East. I think that's all created by the Western European elites with all their literary skills and uh, faking,
Mm,
even stone monuments, building so many things in the past centuries all over the world, and probably the pyramids are Western European creations.
I think so.
Yeah. Um, all it needed was a few tricks with minerals and cement, special cement, and
It
I
could
don't
be
know.
hollow.
Did, did they have a computer to? Did they need a computer to organize it? I don't. Maybe not. um,
Well, who knows if they're big solid blocks? Maybe they're somewhat hollow. Who knows?
uh,
I
right.
haven't been there. I haven't been to the pyramids, but I know
Yeah.
people torture themselves over, well, how did they move these big pieces of rock into place? They didn't have the equipment.
Right. Yeah. It's a fascinating area to think about, but it's not going to solve the problems of today. So.
Baja Pickleball says this guy low key funny, especially when talking about Osaka culture. Do you talk about Osaka culture? I don't think you've said anything about it.
No, Osaka's in the Japanese city.
No, it's where you are, what state you're in. How do you pronounce that?
Oh, Oaxaca. Yeah. What did he say?
Oaxaca. Oaxaca. He says you're low key funny, especially when speaking about Oaxaca culture.
Low key funny. Okay, well, low
Well,
key as
we're
in the
Canadian. We are low key. We're not low energy. We're not excitable.
yeah. Um,
We get our excitement from Americans. Stellar says the pyramids are faked using rebar. Oh yeah, they're not fake. It's just the story of how they came about, I think, is fake. There is a pyramid there. It's a
yeah,
pyramidal structure. It's just how they came to be.
and they did have tools. They weren't our tools,
Hmm.
but they were certainly not hand tools. Um, anyway, a last note here on, if you like,
Yeah, we'll finish that.
on Banquo, one of the characters in Macbeth. Uh, his name is very close to the Spanish and Italian words for banker,
Hmm.
Banquo, and he was prophesied to have all his descendants for, I think, 9 generations ruling Scotland. The play ends without any confirmation of that prophecy. And again, his name is a nod to Italians and maybe Spanish, for sure, Italians. And the prophecy goes nowhere. So I think that again confirms that the Italians were not in control.
Hmm.
And probably the Vatican, however important it is a front for Western Europeans.
Hmm. In other words, Banquo represents the powerful Catholic banking families, the ultra nobility, who use money, usury, and banking tricks to rob Scotland.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and some of the language Banquo uses in the play does concern money, so it's not accidental. When he looks up at the dark sky and there's hardly any stars, he basically says God is being cheap today, cheap like it's a financial thing,
Mm.
and so it's not. It's definitely certainly intentional. It's also odd that there's no one else in the play, I believe, who has a non-Scottish, non-English name. Um, Banquo certainly isn't either.
Hmm. Kate
So,
Emma says regarding the pyramids, Joseph Davoditz showed in the 80s how easy the pyramids were to construct from geopolymer. The Geopolymer Institute has his vids. That's funny.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. I have a little pet theory too about the secret ingredients they use to make these polymers.
Hmm.
As it's still a mystery apparently to chemists. Um, Many of the catacombs, all the catacombs, only have bones, but only two kinds. I think it's femurs and skulls.
Okay.
What happened to all the other bones? They're full of calcium and something else. Could that be the secret ingredient used to build cathedrals and churches?
Bones.
Bones, yeah.
Interesting. So they left those two bones for evidence of past civilization and they used the rest to build their their churches.
It's possible. It's a pet theory. Yeah.
That's funny.
And,
Okay.
and
I don't know
most,
how do bones hold up over time when it comes to that.
well, it would just be an extra ingredient in whatever else they're using, the limestone and
Oh, I see.
sand. Yeah, there is some secret. They say like they still don't know how Romans
The
created.
secret sauce.
Yeah, yeah, because it's certainly not modern concrete. It doesn't hold up very long.
Yeah, it disintegrates over time.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if the video made it up. Oh, here it is. The video is called What Remains. Here it is on FakeOTube. I pulled it off of YouTube. You can get on YouTube. I can't download from YouTube to FakeOTube directly anymore because Google blocks all that. So I can't really easily create automatic reference links. But you can go search the title yourself. But This was a pretty good video. I'm going to link to it. I liked it. I'm almost finished watching. I was watching it before the show started today, and it's just here's a modern day myth that's created in the last few years, and people believe it already. They don't question it. They don't ask for evidence. They never dug up one grave. They just use some so-called ground penetrating radar to look probably only 1 or 2 feet down when they could have just gotten a shovel and dug it up. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just nutty. I can understand if they were 6 miles below the sea level or something, but this is in under a parking lot. Why wouldn't you dig up the parking lot and check? You're looking for bones?
Hmm.
Why are we talking about ground penetrating radar? It's stupid.
Yeah.
If you really want to believe there's bones under there, dig them up. No, they're not doing that.
No, they're too sacred.
Yeah, well, that's just it. You can't question it either. So they'll never dig it up ever.
You know.
Kate Emma says lime is required to make geopolymer, 2 types of lime, shells and bones. Interesting.
Uh-huh. Okay. So bones would
Okay.
work well.
Little bones. All right, Prophet. That was a good show tonight. Nice and relaxed, laid back, and we reviewed some of your work. I
Yeah.
hope that
Thanks for the re-invite.
sure. Got to get the Canadians in the cycle. I don't mind if we can keep having you on as a regular guest if you want, going over your work, exposing it in a nice, interesting, pleasant, low key way of talking and not high strung and yelling and screaming about fakery because that's the way Canadians do it.
That's right.
We're not as worked up.
The Americans, oh boy.
Yeah, they can be all charged up and yelling and screaming. Are there a lot of Canadians in your area of Oaxaca?
There are, well, I am in a special area of Oaxaca, right? And there are a lot of expats, indeed. Mostly on the coast, I think, but I'm also in a blessed, beautiful little village, and it is quite popular. There are people from California, some the Toronto area I've met, not many, a lot of Americans,
Yeah.
Germans, and so on.
I'm doing a lot of financial research, as you know. And one of the topics, one of the guys I watch moved to where did he move to? Panama. And apparently Canada is, I believe, following the American model, where if you don't leave Canada and stay left, then you'll still be taxable. They'll go after your global income. And just wondering if you researched that at all.
Whoa. Um,
Like you got to sever all ties and do all kinds of things to prove that you've really left Canada and you're not just got 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out of the door.
and yeah, because I just renewed my passport.
Well, I guess I guess. Well, yeah. Well, it's just something to look into. I was just curious.
Right.
It comes up because a lot of people leave Canada not so they don't have to pay taxes. Now, I know you said you didn't do it anyway, but if you really were making a decent amount of money, they'll come after you
Yeah.
and
Well,
ask for their share. I don't think you're probably in the super high income tax bracket that matters, but I was just curious if you'd researched it.
no, I haven't. Um, I know people who spend a lot of time working in that, with the birth certificates and so on. I'm just too busy, I think.
Okay, well, that's good. If you guys want to support the show, I have found a way that is a micropayment way, and it's called the Lightning Wallet. There are many Lightning Wallets. What is a Lightning Wallet? It's a subset of Bitcoin. So you can send as low as less than a penny to the fakeologist by scanning this QR code that's on your screen here with your Lightning wallet. I recommend Wallet of Satoshi because it's very easy to use. It is available worldwide, and it is even available in the US, I believe. We tried to find it today. So I put a link in the Discord. I could probably put it over here somewhere if you wanted to try it out. I know most of my listeners are American. Or get the Speed Lightning. And I do recommend Bitcoin. I did recommend a privacy coin in the past just as a pet project, but Bitcoin is here to stay. It's not going away, and it is going up in value as your currency, pick a country, is going the other way, down. If you want to save your wealth, by the way, Prophet, do you take Bitcoin for your services?
No, I get paid conventionally, but through e-transfers.
Okay. Well, I
For my
really.
regular job.
Pardon me.
For my regular job.
Mm-hmm. Well, since you work electronically, I just thought this might be some solution for you to look into.
I've had clients offer me WeChat money.
Right, that is the currency of China. I know that.
Yeah, it's a kind of a warm up for no cash.
Well, it's not a warm up. That's what they use. That's exclusive. It's ubiquitous in China. They have their chat and their their social media and their money all in one app, which is, of course, what Elon Musk wants to do with X. He's been trying to do that for a long time. I don't know if he's going to make it.
Well, I did read recently or listen recently to information about the Chinese pushing back against the elimination of cash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they are using it in a widespread way. It's very common.
Yeah, you're right. They're years ahead of us.
They are. Yeah. But if you want to join the future and you want to hold on and save your money, save your assets, we will accept some of them as well in the form of Lightning. And it's really easy to use. You can buy Bitcoin anywhere in the world, and it's accepted in any world. It is the world currency right now for those that know what's going on. So I highly recommend it. And you should get some, and then you should share some with Fakeologists in micropayments, fractions of Bitcoin via the Lightning Network. So that's on our donate page, and it works, and it's almost instant, and it's feeless. So check it out. And I do not give investment advice, but if I did, I would say get yourself a little bit of Bitcoin because it's the real deal. All right. Well, Prophet, thanks again, and we'll have you back again. We can just talk about whatever you want, or more of your expose on some of the writings and authors, if you want.
Sure. There's lots to explore.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, and don't forget to share this show, everybody, including Prophet, with whoever you can, and we're gonna try and get some other social media influencers because I find I get all my listeners through referrals when I go on other shows or guests come on my show. That's just about the only way to grow the audience. So thank you very much. Thanks, Kate, Emma. Thanks for the regulars. Big crowd tonight of regulars, even though we're sort of irregular ourselves. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you probably Tuesday because tomorrow's a holiday here in Canada, or in Ontario anyway. So take care, Prophet. Thanks a lot.
Adios.
Adios. Au revoir. Bye-bye.